my hair, don't move. Yeah. Welcome everybody. Yours truly, Diva Lyri. Rocking with you. UNA University, UNA Republic. We're doing it today. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? To the beat. To the beat now. Mama, Reach, Frankie, who else? Lynn, RZ, what's going on? I want y'all to say something if you're in the house. I want you to say something if you're in the house. Welcome everybody. I am yours truly, Diva Lyri. Today with UNA University and UNA Republic. Say something if you in the house. Let's see. Who else is here? Black, Ruben, Lady D, T, Pretty Boy. Y'all say something and let me know you're watching. Now, today's topic is stop selling out for money. Stop selling out for money. So I want to go into a few different topics today. And the main thing that I want to go into is how when we sell out for money, we bring about a demise to ourselves. Now, I need to say this because we're hooked on this thing called money. Money. These Federal Reserve notes, these dollar bills, they are a hell of a drug. They are a hell of a drug. And I went into this, the last topic, and we talked about universal laws and how to use the universal currency that we have forgotten about. All right. Universal laws. This is what I talked about. Universal laws and why this is very important. All right. So one of the things that has been introduced to us are these things we call dollar bills. Now, the great thing about them is that they are a form of exchange. The issue with them is that we have forgotten about the higher laws. We are dependent on man's currency when this is the real currency right here. Universal laws, universal bank, universal currency. We have forgotten how to create. And because we have forgotten how to create, we have become slaves to this drug that we know of as money. All right. And so we've got to learn how to get back into being creators, because we always talk about the demise of melanated people or just really people in general. We talk about the demise, but we've got to understand who's really playing the role in that, and that's us. That's us. So in the intro, I talk about how someone called me, and it was a sister. She called me. She's telling me about how these people are on the land that was owned by her ancestors. That she found out that the land is in the name of her ancestors, and she wanted to sue. And so, we got into it, and I'm, listening to her, and I'm finding out there are people on the land. And so I said, well, what do you want? Do you want the land, or do you want the people off the land? Do you want the money? What do you want? She's like, oh, I can get the money. Well, give me the money. And so I thought about it, and the issue, here's the issue, and I need y'all to listen. The issue is that if you are just taking the money and you're not willing to do anything with the land or develop the land, then you're selling yourself out. You're selling the land out. And that was one of the problems from the beginning. And I'm going to go into this just a little bit, because when we read treaties that took place between the original people of the land and these people from Britain, we find out that, the original people of the land sold the rights to the land. They didn't give up the land, but they found out that what they were receiving for the land, it really wasn't equal. All right. So when you got these original people and you got these people coming in from Britain, and they're giving them some whatever they were giving them. One of the things I remember, blue jeans. They might give them some gunpowder, some whatever they had, the materials. They would give these materials to the original people, and then that stuff was gone. But these people are still in the land. They're still on your land. It's the same thing with these Federal Reserve notes. All right? You're giving up your land for this money, and then the money runs out, but these people still have your land. It's not an equal exchange. You sold out, and now you've become a slave to it. The money runs out, and then you need more money, but they're still in the land, so they want more from you when they got your land, which is the most valuable thing on this planet. What's going on, Sonny? DJ Serve, thank you for being here. So you've got to understand that we have been selling millions of whatever currency that we choose. Okay, we're going to start learning how to build. And so I want to go into a couple of things that we're not aware of, and then we'll get on to exactly what's going on in this game. All right. So now I use the example of someone who said, hey, I got this land and was willing to sell it out, willing to sell this land out for the Federal Reserve notes. This is the same thing when they come in and they're telling you, oh, we buy gold. We buy gold. Okay, they buy gold. But here's the deal. Your gold is more than the cheesy Federal Reserve notes that they're going to give you. And because we don't know how to, once again, create our own currency, which is what we're going to learn to do. We're going to learn to create. Because we don't know how to create our own currency, they come in, they're going to give you, let's say, $100 for your gold chain. Meanwhile, your gold chain is worth thousands. And then some. It keeps giving. It's that gift. And it's really, if you really learn how to use gold, gold can build your whole vessel. Some of y'all didn't know, for example, monoatomic gold is like a fine white powder where they take out all of the properties of the gold and they turn it into a fine white powder. You look in the Bible, it's called either mufkuts or manna. All right, this is what Moses fed to the Israelites when he came off that mountain and they had that darn gold calf and he melted it. Mufkuts. In Hebrew, it's supposed to mean, what is it? All right. What happened is that monoatomic gold is like a fine white powder. It can reconstruct your cells. It can give you longevity of life, but you selling it for a couple of dollars because you don't know the true value of what this element is. So I'm saying that because at some point we've got to start recognizing the value of us, the value of our creations, the value of our land, the value of, and then how to turn it into its own currency where we are not concerned about this drug that we call a dollar. This drug that we call Federal Reserve notes, this drug that we call money. We're going to learn how to create our own currency using the universal bank and universal laws. So I want to get into this because I just went over the whole money aspect or the financial aspect. And I also spoke about the demise of melanated people. But I want to say something to you. Going to the Tuskegee experiments, for example. All right. I want y'all to understand something. We think it's quote unquote white people who doing us in, and it's the white people. And we need to come off of that because it's really not, they're not white. When I talk about the Albions, they're not white people, first of all. Second of all, there's two different groups of light-skinned people. All right, there's two different groups. One is those who are known as the JEWS. For whatever reason, we can't say that term, but you all know what I'm talking about. And then you got your typical Albion. They're different people. They're two different people, and your JEWS people, they will tell you they're not the same. And let me make it clear to you, the Albion, your typical Albions don't have control of nothing. The people who have control of 90% of the resources on this planet are JEWS, not your Albion. They don't own nothing. They're just puppets, like melanated people, like everybody else. They're just puppets. The ones who own everything is less than 10% of the population, the so-called Jews. That's who owns more than 90% of your resources. And it's not a diss to them, but let's make this clear. Those are the ones who are manipulating this game. So now I want to go to the Tuskegee experiment. And let's make it clear. There's a group of people who were involved with that whole experiment whereby they gave melanated people syphilis. They gave melanated men syphilis so that they can do an experiment and see. Thank you, crazy. Yeah, so the JUUWS, thank you. So that they can see how it would affect them. Now I need y'all to understand something. Those were not your typical Albions or so-called white people. That was another group. That group that deals with or has ownership, if you will, or control of 90% of the resources on the planet. Those were not your typical Albions. That was those families. Now, why is that an issue? Because I need y'all to understand they couldn't have done that without the help of other melanated people. Y'all pay attention to me. Because we will sell out ourselves for Federal Reserve notes or this so-called money, which is a hell of a drug. There was melanated people involved in that game with helping them to do this dirt to these Tuskegee men. There was melanated people involved in that because they had to sign off on it. Yeah, we agree with this. Now, hey, come in and get this. Are you selling out your essence, your land, your people for money? Who's giving this money? Well, again, I told you those are the 90% of those, the 10% rather, less than 10% of the population who is controlling more than 90% of the resources. That ain't your typical Albion. And why is that important? Because we've been made to fight against each other. Melanated people against the Albion, young against old, rich against poor, and all this. But there's that group that's manipulating and controlling the whole game, and we're not seeing what's going on. So, again, this drug that we call money, we want to learn to back up off of it. Recognize that it is a drug so that we can start creating our own. I'm going to get into this. Bus companies, airlines, you know, we go into this about, we don't own any businesses and we don't own this. But actually, our people will own things and then we sell it out. BET, for example. BET, Black Entertainment Television. Well, it's not owned by so-called black people anymore. This was a big product in the melanated community, and somebody gave it up for some Federal Reserve notes. All kind of businesses we've had, bus companies, food companies, winery, what you name it, we've had it, but we sell it out. We have an idea, whether it be a book or it might be knowledge that we have researched, and we sell it out. instead of cultivating it and then creating our own currency. We got to get back to here. We got to get back to the universe. We got to understand what the real laws are and how to create our own currency. So when we sell out, and then we're standing in this position where these people are controlling all of these resources. How did they amass these resources? They gave us a drug called money. We got to create our own currency. We got to get back to that. Because what happens is, for example, we'll have land. We have land. And yeah, we try to hold on to it, but the thing is, we don't know how to get the currency to build it up. We're so focused on a Federal Reserve note. We're going to learn how to create our own currency and start recognizing the value in what we have. All right? Harrison says, thank you, Queen. I know you did your research. See one, teach one. Thank you, brother. We the Wave. Farm grants. Yes, that's still money, though. We the Wave. We're still dependent on somebody else to give us some funds so that we can build something. We're dependent on them. We're going to learn, once again, what real currency is. What real currency is, so that we start putting value in our own, whatever it is. We got to start putting value in ourselves. Okay, because once that happens, and y'all need to understand, yeah, the powers that be, again, this ain't your typical Albion doing this. The powers that be don't want us to do this. That's the same thing that happened with Gaddafi. That's the same thing that happened with Saddam, where they was like, nah, you know what? We're going to start our own thing. Because once you recognize the drug and you want to come off the drug, well, then they have no more validity. They've got to go away. But the first thing starts with us, first of all, recognizing the value in our creations and the value in ourselves. All right. Secondly, not being willing to sell out for Federal Reserve notes. When we have a creation, we need to learn how to cultivate it. And that starts, once again, when we get back to these laws. If y'all don't have these universal laws, go to unarepublic.com/docs, DOCS, D as in David, O as in Oscar, C as in Charlie, S as in Sam. unarepublic.com/docs. You can download the universal laws. You can download the hierarchy of laws. As we get into these laws, these true laws, and you understand that you are a law, you understand that you are a currency, you understand the value of yourself, we're going to start building to where we're not hooked on this drug anymore. I want to get into this. And then I got to get out of here because I got my class. UNA University, y'all load up into the university because we're going to get on it today. I want to get on this. Some of y'all have been following this. And this is our Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. And I haven't spoken on this. I've been following this for a while. And I want to speak on what has just occurred. So for those of you who don't know, Deion Sanders, football player, he was cornerback in the NFL. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame for NFL and Hall of Fame for college. He ended up becoming a coach. He was coaching his sons in Little League. Then I think he went up to high school level, what have you. And then he ended up wanting to go into college. And none of the colleges would draft him. He wanted to go into some of the bigger colleges, but they would not bring him in. They wouldn't hire him. They felt that he was a risk. He had some kind of organization, Prime Academy or what happened. Something went down with that. It didn't go over well. But he ended up applying and no one wanted to hire him, but an HBCU school took a chance on him, and that's Jackson State. And so Deion comes in and he did miracles, do you hear me? With respect to turning the program around, which Jackson State's football team had a problem winning. They couldn't win. But Deion Sanders comes in and he brought in more than life. He moved mountains with respect to what went on in that organization. He was able to come in and, again, 3 seasons, he had winning seasons for the last 3 seasons. I think he lost 1 game in the regular season. The first season was during COVID. And I think it was he went 7-1 or something like that because it was a shortened season. Last season, he went 11-2. This season, they are undefeated. I think they have 12 games now, and they're going on to a bowl game. And the things that he just did with the school was amazing, with the football team. But he goes in and he builds a whole football field and, a whole facility that's upgraded. Because first of all, let's make this clear. He wasn't really getting paid a lot. But when he comes in, they didn't have a practice field, and he knew if it rained, they wouldn't be able to practice. And so he took part of his money. I think he was making $500,000, and he was like, "Look, take $300,000 of that and build us a facility, okay?" And they built it, and it was awesome. All right, and so he gets this team to where not only is it a great team, but he's got ESPN coming. He's got all kind of attention coming. Good Day, Good Morning America, and all of he just brought so much attention, so much money, so many sponsors came in. Money started flowing. The city started listening. Melanated folks started coming together. All of the HBCUs started growing. This man is awesome. Listen to me. He would do stuff, you know how people won't come or the stadium won't sell out. All right. Deion Sanders would go to another game and he'd say, "Oh, wait, it's not sold out. Wait a minute. Y'all haven't sold the stadium out? Okay, hold on. I'm going to make an announcement and we're going to get this fixed." And he'd make an announcement, and next thing you know, the stadium sold out at an away game. At an away game. I'm saying to you, he worked miracles. Not only that, within the HBCUs, it wasn't just his whole organization that was coming up, Jackson State. All of the other HBCUs had a record number of people enrolling now because of him, because of his presence. All right. Added to that, just the whole Mississippi was getting funds. They said, "Oh, $30 million has come because of his presence." All right. Not only that, but melanated people across the planet. Listen to me. I don't care about no college football. I was never really a college football fan. But the way he speaks, the way he motivated people, his team, the things he said, he motivated people around this planet, melanated people around this country especially. So I'm saying to you that this was in Deion Sanders, there was, and I'm saying was, I didn't mean to say it like was, but what he brought to the whole atmosphere, it was amazing, powerful, very valuable. So now, what ends up happening is he goes off, some of you all know, to Colorado because he was offered, $5 million with incentives. And in this whole thing, when he came to Jackson State, his whole thing was he got a message from God, and God, a collect call, he says, and he had to take that job, and he did it with a lot of sacrifices. And in doing it, he built up a lot of hope in the people, to the point where they were like, man, he's going to take us to the next level. He's going to be able to take HBCUs rather to another level, which he did. He did. But he ended up leaving. There was a whole secrecy around it, surrounding it. And, he was able to get, by the way, one of the biggest things he did, which really turned a lot of heads, was he took the number one recruit from a large college that he was supposed to go to. And because it was Deion Sanders, he was able to bring this guy in. And again, all of that, all of the fanfare surrounding it was just, he brought hope. And then when he left, because of money, or because, he was getting paid better. And I'm not going to lie to you, he broke a lot of hearts. He broke the hearts of the Jackson State team. He broke the hearts of those in HBCUs. He broke the heart of those in Mississippi, because they really, he had a power. He had power. When he spoke, the people listened. And listen to me, when you can speak and the people hear you, because that's where the money is, the people. The money is in them. When they start listening to you, then that's when you have true power. And he was speaking to the point where he's talking to the mayor, and he's like, mayor, governor, because they had a water problem there in Mississippi. He's talking to the mayor and the governor. Can y'all come together and get this together? He almost turned into a politician. You don't understand how much power that is. Yeah, you weren't making the millions of dollars that you make, Colorado is paying you. You weren't. But you weren't recognizing the true value in the people who you were touching. They worth more than any amount of money. And I get it. I get it. This is why I say we've got to learn how to start creating our own currency. Because he didn't understand the currency in those people right there in $5 million. How many people we got in Mississippi? Because if you really start looking at it and start recognizing the true currency in each and every last one of us. And I'm not hating on Coach Prime, because I told you the only reason why I start watching it, I'm not even an HBCU fan. Let me be honest with you. Much less college. But I started watching because Deion Sanders, he brought something to that. And he helped me to see, when you got people rallying around you, then there's a power in that. And I don't think he recognized that. But to be 100% honest with you, I told you there are two different groups of light-skinned people. All right, two different groups. And I say that the group that pulled him away and wanted him to be pulled away was that same group that's running what we know of as the Center for Disease Control, that same group that's the puppet master for all this game. Yeah, there was another group that needed him to not be in this place because his voice was too powerful in that arena. It was too powerful. I'm saying what I'm saying, and I mean it. I love me some Deion Sanders. I love what he brought. But there was somebody who needed him to be away from this arena, because what was becoming apparent is the power of one voice. And if they don't have control of that voice, then it becomes dangerous to them. We're going to start learning our power. We're going to start learning to create our own currency. We're going to start learning to get off of the drug that's known as money. Because as soon as we do, this whole game is going to turn around. As soon as we get off of this drug we call money, this whole game is going to start turning around. I'm not talking about no grants. I'm not talking about no sponsorship. I'm talking about recognizing the power which in each one of us. We are the money. We are the currency. There ain't enough money they can pay him concerning how much power he lost by moving I wish he would have stayed. I recognize and respect the fact that he wants money. I'm not even one to be saying, oh, he had all the money he needed. That don't be counting people's pockets. I'm totally against that. But what I am telling you is that he was in a very powerful position. They would have made him mayor. If he had decided to run, Deion Sanders could have been mayor of Mississippi if he wanted to. Because if you're telling me a Herschel Dan Walker can run with the ridiculousness that he's saying and almost win, I don't even know if he's won. Yeah, I'm not even concerned. Deion Sanders had power. Somebody needed him away from that. And I'm saying to you, he sold out. As much as I love him, as much as I respect him and appreciate everything he brought, not only to Jackson State, to Mississippi, the state of Mississippi, to HBCUs, but to melanated people across this nation. He sold out because he didn't recognize the true value in all of the people who were supporting him. I want y'all to understand, we're going to get off of this drug. We're going to learn to create our own currency. As I'm getting ready to get out of here, I want y'all to know I love you. I appreciate you. I'm yours truly, Diva Lyri. If you're interested in being in our university, we're starting up in January. All right. January. Hit us up, send a message so that we can hit you back. Leave your number, and we're going to have a consultation with you so we can get you involved and enrolled. I want to thank all of you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Crazy. Thank you, Carla. Yes, we should create our own NFTs, create our own currency. We're going to turn this game around. I love y'all. Stay tuned. Diva, I'm out. Peace.